Doomer life. All right, so I've seen a little bit of the doomer memes now, and they're pretty funny, and I like people who can laugh at themselves. I can trust those people because I can see in their eyes that, you know, there is something there. You know, they're not sneaky. They won't stab you in the back, so to speak. So that's what I observed. I had a friend like that was the opposite. So doomers, or, you know, pessimist. You're basically a pessimist, and or nihilist. You know, you see the world through that, but it doesn't mean just because the universe doesn't care about us, doesn't mean that you don't care about the universe. Well, even the universe, but it doesn't mean that you don't care about yourself and life. The fact that you're still alive means that you intuitively understand that life has meaning to you. Even though you say life is purposeless, but life doesn't have meaning, and yet you're living. All right? So there is some meaning. There is some meaning. And the meaning is health. You think that life is meaningless, but it's not meaningless. You gotta have a direction, all right? It is meaningless if you keep on thinking like this. And it will eventually, you know, you either hit something, hit a wall, so to speak, or you get worse and worse, and you know, self-destruct. That's the worst. And I was there. I almost did self-destruct. And but I realized that self-destruction wasn't the answer, because then I just move even quicker towards meaninglessness. Even quicker. Because non-existence is the ultimate meaninglessness. While when I am still living, I can create a meaning for myself. I can change things. Things are in my control. Some things, not everything, but a lot of things are in my control. But if you keep on thinking that society, you know, limits you, then of course you won't believe you will limit yourself automatically. And built into this is fear, a lot of fear. So what I would suggest is actually to fast for people like you. And you gotta start training as well, and dieting properly, and remove all the nonsense. Remove all the nonsense. But now, obviously, I understand when you are in this state of being, it takes time to realize this. You won't even believe my word. You know, I understand that because I've been on both sides. So there are 3 things you need to think of. Only 3. Your mind, body, legacy. You work on your body, getting better. Your mind will get better when you eat properly and diet and fast and exercise. And then you focus on whatever your passion is, your obsession, all right? Whatever your obsession is. And I don't mean, you know, watching things. I don't mean playing things. I mean, in terms of creating things, what your obsession is. If you like playing the guitar and you want to be a singer and you know, an artist like that, that is precisely what you focus on. And you learn whatever you need to learn to get there. And in all areas, you know, in terms of releasing your stuff, in terms of creating your stuff, in terms of business side, all of the sides. And that's your project. I'm giving you a project here. And the project is life. The project is life. And that is how we create meaning. We create meaning. The universe doesn't create meaning. Doesn't matter. We create the meaning. And we have something to strive for, because there is challenge in this. If there is no challenge in this, there is no meaning. If you just got everything automatically like that, perfect, there is no challenge, and thus there is no meaning, because you have nothing to strive towards. You have nothing to build towards. I think that is why people like Jimi Hendrix just immediately died like that. Because it got too fast, too quickly. And I think some people can endure that, like Bob Dylan, but a lot of people can't. I don't think, you know. So you do not keep on reveling in the same thing, in the same things all day long, every single day. You gotta change. You gotta have a will to change. I know that not all of you will have that, but some of you might have it. You gotta have a will to change. That's the prerequisite for everything. There is this metaphor I was thinking of the other day, yesterday I think. Imagine yourself in waters, being in deep waters. You've been shipwrecked, like Robinson Crusoe or something like that. One of my favorite books. And I love survival and stuff like that. And so, but you can't truly see, when you're in this depressed state, or pessimistic, nihilistic, it's the same thing. When you are in this state, you don't see the land at all. So it's always, you know, you're always circling around. You don't have a direction. So you're just going round and round like that, because you don't even believe in the land, because you haven't seen it. You only have ocean around you. I see it as dark oceans like that. All right, so you're swimming here, and depending on the level of depression here, some are almost drowning and some are still, you know, up here and trying to breathe. So, but all of them can be saved. All right, all of them can be saved. Actually, one of my missions is to just get rid of and destroy depression. All right, that's one of my missions, because I want to move towards greater health, and I'm never going back to depression. I'm never going back to these deep waters. And even though I go back there, I will do it with an intent, because I want to swim into the deep waters and then pull myself out of it again, just to get, you know, the treasures that are there, because I understand there is inner wisdom there. I understand that. But next time, I will always have an intention. I just move in there and I get out and I get what I want there. In terms of, for example, so in a concrete way here, if I, for example, would write a poem or a book about this, that is what I would channel this. I would go in there and I would put it on the paper, or, you know, digital paper, and express myself and then pull myself out of it. All right, because getting back to where I want to be. So it's all about desires. So in this metaphor or analogy or allegory, you're swimming here, but those who kind of start to see the land, you see a little bit of light in the tunnel. All right, I connect those two. and not just that, but now you have a direction. So now you move towards the land. Because you wouldn't, in a real life scenario, of course you wouldn't just ignore the land and let yourself drown like that, because your instinct, your pure instinct, your reptile brain, that will just kick in, and you would save yourself. You would make sure that you would save yourself, and you would swim to land. But that is precisely, but the thing I want to emphasize here is the work you got to do to swim towards the land. All right, that's the deeper reason why I even want to mention this, because there is no shortcut. You are in deep waters. There are no shortcuts here. You only have one direction, and it takes a lot of pain to get there. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy and work to get to land, but you will get there eventually. All right, and that is precisely the journey I did, and that's precisely the journey every single person can do. And and in terms of life, it means doesn't mean swimming. It means eating properly, dieting properly, training, and meditation later, and sleeping better also, and cutting things, cutting social media, cutting all sorts of things, everything you don't need. You all know what you don't need, and focusing on, for example, if you always wanted to read, Aristotle or something, you do that instead. Get those books or get it digitally. All of those are in public domain. So, and you can get Plato, for example, and all of his works, and you do that, you execute that, and you execute all the higher desires, all the desires you have that are greater. The lower desires, you cut those, because that's useless to you now. Now you just want to move towards greater health, greater and greater health. That is what it means in terms of the human, the human condition. So that is precisely what you're doing here. So technically I'm speaking the same way with every single video. Well, not the same way, because the expression will vary each and every day, but it is all the same. That is the universal for us. You see, that's the universal in humanity. We're all trying to strive towards greater health, instinctually. You all have instincts. It's just that most of you listen to music all the time in your ears like that, and having these earphones, and you never listen to your own inner, loop feedback voice, which you should. You should listen to that more often, because that will give you guidance and a direction to move towards. Even stronger, because you can't just have, rationality is not everything, all right? Rationality has its place, and intuition and instinct has its place. We use both, all right? So I don't deny any part of it, the human condition. Even being in the deep waters is a great experience, because now you're one of the few people that understand these deep waters. Most people don't understand these deep waters. Most people have only seen the land, and they take it for granted, but not the people that have been in the deep waters. In a lot of ways, these people that have experienced both the deep waters and the land, they are the full human condition. They've been through a lot, more than most people, and that's why I see them as greater, actually. But even greater if they can pull themselves out back again from the waters. And then even better when they are mature enough and stable enough, they can, with intent, like I said earlier, get in there and get out of there. But that takes a little bit more time, all right? But it can take 1 year, 2 years, and so forth. But whatever it takes, you work yourself out of it. You don't torture yourself anymore. You start working on yourself. But it doesn't mean that we remove pain and suffering and struggle, because there will be struggle. How else are you going to swim towards land? And how are you going to keep on surviving on land as well? So there is always something to do here. But that's the meaning of life, to have something to strive towards. That's meaning. And you create meaning to yourself and to others. The land for you is greater health. But this greater health means listening to your higher desires. Like I said, if you want to be an author, you focus on that, your obsession. You go after your obsession, and you figure out a way to become the greatest in this obsession. That's what you figure out. That's the meaning of your life. That's the meaning of your life. That's the meaning of my life. The obsession with philosophy and art and expression and the meaning of life. I have an obsession with the meaning itself. And that's why I believe I have something to give here. Because you shouldn't just revel in this circle. Like I said, in the waters, you're just circling around. And there is no meaning in that. There is no meaning in that. Even though you have treasures beneath you, you've seen them 1 billion times perhaps, and so they become meaningless to you. But they're not meaningless for those at land, on the land, because they haven't seen those things. So you see, this metaphor is actually great, because greats like Nietzsche, for example, he could with intent go into that waters and pull himself out. And in a lot of ways, he didn't completely pull himself out, but you see, other people will appreciate his work, like Albert Camus and all these, and they won't, even though these people express something all people wanted to express but couldn't truly put the words there because we all don't have the same talents. We aren't all great for a reason. So the greats are capable of being on land, getting into the deep waters, get the treasures, and move out again. But the greats have also been very deep into the waters for a very long time. And they've also been a lot on land. So that is that. And I hope this helps. If it doesn't help, put something in the comments, and I will see if I can make something even more specific. Because I understand it's not specific, but I'm trying to talk to a lot of people here. So anyway, that's that. I will see you tomorrow.